All right, here we go. All righty. Hello, you guys. Oops, here we go. Goodness, techie problems tonight. All righty. Well, so glad to be meeting with you guys. If you don't see some of your peeps on, go message them. I'm gonna have to be kind of brief because I have to go run get a kiddo from JFL practice. But I wanted to set aside some time to chat with you guys face to face and go over a few things before another week got away from us. So we're T minus 14 days. We're down to the final 14 days of the month, which is plenty of time to make some things happen. But I like to run my brain on monthly cycles with Plexus so that I kind of just keep the time frame in mind, so that I keep focus on what I need to focus on. So we have 2 weeks left to make a lot of things happen, and there's plenty of time to do that. I wanted to, and here I go, and I had stuff prepared and pulled up, and I'm not even on. 1 second, let me see if I can pull this other thing up that I was going to play for you guys. I had it all squared around. So let's see. There is plenty of time here. While I'm pulling this up, I'll kick us off with a quote. This is from the Diamond meeting. I think it was Tarl that said, quote, "The only way to grow a bigger team is to grow ourselves." And I really appreciated that. If I can pull this up really fast. There we go. All right. There we go. All right. So we had, let me see if, there we go. Okay. I can see you guys now. Okay. So the only way to grow a bigger team is to grow ourselves. And then this actually is a quote from this Denzel Washington video that I was going to play for you guys. You have the opportunity to succeed. Do you have the guts to fail? If you don't fail, you're not trying. And I'm actually going to share my screen now and play this little video clip.
Fail, you're not even trying. I'll say it again. If you don't fail, you're not even trying. My wife told me this great expression. To get something you never had, you have to do something you never did. Les Brown's a motivational speaker. He made an analogy about this. Says, imagine you're on your deathbed, and standing around your deathbed are the ghosts representing your unfulfilled potential. The ghost of the ideas you never acted on. The ghost of the talents you didn't use. And they're standing around your bed, angry, disappointed, and upset. They say, we came to you because you could have brought us to life, they say. And now we have to go to the grave together. So I ask you today, how many ghosts are going to be around your bed in your time?
Okay. That's something that Alec played for us. And
please join me in welcoming Denzel Washington.
Hang on.
Thank you.
All right, we only need one Denzel Washington video. Okay. Anyways, the point being is we have an opportunity. We have a big opportunity in front of us. And I just thought it was really good, really profound. And everything flows from our thoughts. And so I want to talk about our thoughts today. But before I do that, I want to refocus our plexus brain on a few things. Team-wide mission. I've decided this is our team-wide mission for the month. And that is to work on having a minimum of 10% upgrade rate. So if you look on your back office and your virtual office and you see how many people that your team has sponsored, next to it is also a upgrade number. And so we always want to have 10% be the goal. So for example, if you have 10 new VIPs on your team, you want at least one to be upgraded. That means they've sponsored one person or more so far. And so you guys can help work on that. We're currently sitting at like 5%. We have been 10 to 15% as a team. And I know that we're still working, obviously, throughout this month, but it's really, really important to have the crucial conversations going. And I was just at a luncheon with Jessica Heffley and Angie and Melody, kind of on a whim. Jessica was able to join us for lunch last week, and it was really good. And she was just normalizing the conversations she has with everybody. And this is actually what Genevieve taught also, which is by the time their first, well, I guess would be technically their second subscription, or their first order that's not their welcome pack order. So I guess the second subscription, to make sure that you've had at least 3 points of contact about earning money before their subscription pops out. So I really liked that. And she said, she used the verbiage, I'm gonna have to go turn that volume down, it's bugging me. She said, you make 300, she says this to her customers, you'll make $300 if you do this with friends. It's stupid not to. So that's her words, not mine. And she's like, yeah, just make it normalize it. And so anyways, if you're not having those conversations with every single person that comes into your organization, or at least your level ones, and then tapping with your other levels, you need to be, we need to be, I need to be. So just as a little reminder. So keep having the crucial conversations, and don't prejudge anybody. You just never know who's going to say yes to it. Also, have the conversations more than once. Like, make it your system to do that. Okay, I gotta go turn the volume down. Okay. All righty. Okay, so let's refocus our plexus brain on the month. Okay, so I'm going to state the obvious really quick. And this is coming from our lunch conversation. If you are pushing for a rank up or a big point jump, you got to commit to number 1, personal recruitment, number 2, +1s and developing silvers. So that goes without saying, but I just thought it would be helpful to like restate it. All of us, I'm assuming all of you are working towards a rank up and or a big point jump, which means your number 1 focus has to be bringing in new personal enrollments. And number 2, developing the people on your team and having that conversation, because you just never know when your next business builder is going to pop up. And maybe the most unlikely person that you have on your team, or that you're prejudging that they would never do this with you, and who would do this with me, and all those questions that are popping up in your brain. But you have to act and you have to speak as though they all will, and assume that you're looking for the new and the few. You're looking for the few that are going to say yes to the business opportunity, and you'll have a higher percentage of people that will say yes to it if you're excited about it, and if your belief is high that truly anyone can do this, and that you will instill and infuse belief in them. I honestly think that's a huge piece to why we got so many people working the business with us, or even just sharing and going silver. We had like explosion of silvers as we were going senior gold. It wasn't gold yet because we basically recruited ourselves to gold, but then going to senior gold, and then ruby, and then senior ruby, emerald, sapphire, diamond was all about duplication, power of 3, getting people to not really just share with a friend, but share with at least 3 friends. So anyways, I just wanted to state that really quickly to refocus our brain. If you have not done the post that I posted in the Momentum Makers group, and that I've posted several times, you need to. And you just have to not worry about what people are going to think, or not assume, oh, well, I didn't start for weight loss, so whatever. The reality is, most people need to lose weight. Their guts are unhealthy. They're not feeling great. And they need you to post this post to help them feel better. So it's the need 6 product testers to try my GLP-1 detox combo. People are dropping weight because it lowers cortisol levels, and the appetite control is insane. And then what you need to say is all in the comments. Literally, the Dr. Hartman video, what Angie and I have both been saying. And I've posted this once or twice, and then another one with like a pink drink with another little picture. Yes, similar to that. And I posted it on Justin's Facebook also. He's in conversations with people. I'm in conversations with people coming to us, which I prefer. So you got to do the uncomfortable thing if that's uncomfortable for you to make a post like that, but it'll shift up who you're probably talking with. And you just never know. So my encouragement. Oh, and this is the other thing. Angie Ambersetti has signed at least 10 people this month. And the reason she signs so many people is because she is posting. She is posting and she's also in conversation. So if you're not doing either one or both of those things, or like you're heavy on one, light on the other, shift it. I mean, if you want to truly rank up and grow your business, like the way we grow our business is by through conversations, marketing, posting, and helping people. Like that's what we're all about. Man, I'm gonna have to go because Gabe or Daniel's going to be getting done with his football. I hate this. Okay, really fast. Don't forget we have that fun little shoe giveaway. Did you see the tennis shoe giveaway? So if you add 3 VIPs personally and develop a silver in our 1 through 3. So if you are in my 1 through 3, Justin's 1 through 3, or my reentry 1 through 3, so you qualify for that. You can qualify for it. Also, don't forget virtual gold school is this weekend. There's also Rising Rubies retreat and then the Senior Gold Fly-In. That's happening in October and November. So make sure you mark your calendars for that. So if you're planning to rank up or you've already ranked up to Senior Gold and you've gotten an invite, get yourselves there because it's so good. So good. So we're working on launching Rising Leaders Retreat strong, front load like crazy, like recruit a ton this month. Seriously, you guys. Icon, obviously, it's all going to tie in and work together. So keep eyeballs on Icon. If you already hit Icon, I know a couple of girls already have. Keep like work on, do it again. Do it again. That's like literally how you do the business is keep going Icon. Don't forget we have double enrollment credits. So that's going to really help your Leaders Retreat credits. Those will show in your back, like in your virtual office once commissions process. Let's see. Oh, there's next day pay. So make sure your peeps know about that. And then don't forget to be talking to, and I wove this into the wording that I put in the comments of that post on Momentum Makers group, to weave the wording in about the free shipping. So free shipping for the next 3 months. So that's fantastic for everybody. Man, I'm going to have to go, you guys, to pick up Daniel because it's getting really dark. I wanted to, okay, so something else that they shared with us at the Diamond meeting is the product launches. So there's going to be some really fun holiday launches starting in the middle of October. And then we have like several other fun things coming up. So there's some good things coming. They're also like working to reformulate a few things just to make sure it's so that Plexus is as pristine and clean as possible product wise. Okay, I really wanted to talk about thoughts. I know some of you were on Jessica's call yesterday. Let's see. Oops, who just typed in the comment? Oh, yeah, amen to that. I really wanted to talk about thoughts, and some of you were on Jessica's call yesterday, and so I'm sure everything she shared was phenomenal. I think what I'm going to have to do because it's getting so dark is pop on live. I hate that, you guys. I'm going to have to hop on live on Momentum Makers group because Justin's out in the back hosting a men's Bible study, and I didn't realize it was going to get dark this fast. So I'm going to have to close this off. And then I have some things that I really like. The meat of what I wanted to share is actually going to be about our thoughts and some things that Christina Williams shared during the Diamond meeting or in the dual meeting. Unless you guys want a power hour right now, like for 15-20 minutes, totally up to you. But I literally just have to drive across town and drive back. So does anyone want to stay on and just work until I get back? Otherwise, if not, I'll close the Zoom and then I'll just hop on Momentum Makers and share my thoughts via live. Anyone gonna be sitting in the chair for an hour or half an hour yet? Nicole? I'm good with either. Okay. Well, I mean, if you guys are game for just working for like 15 minutes, while I run and Buzz get him, and then Buzz back. If you can't be on, then you can just totally pop off. And if I come back and nobody's on here, then I'll just pop on live. How about that? And or if you guys want to chat amongst yourselves and talk about wins and learns, and I know some of you were on that call yesterday, so it might be a great time for you to kind of debrief and share some things that were really sticking out to you. So okay, I will be back. I shall return, and hopefully my kids don't come in here and mess with the Zoom.
So I have a couple of questions maybe you guys can answer for me. So the pay next day, does that work for everybody or is that just new ambassadors? How does that work?
It's everyone.
It's everyone. Okay. And is that just for the next couple of months or is that
I think I want to say it was October. There was a date, but I don't remember what it was. But I
that's
thought
what
it
I
was
was
through.
thinking.
I thought it was past September, but I don't remember the exact date.
Okay.
But then the double is also for everybody. The double BBBs.
Right.
That's
Okay.
also for everybody, which is to me a big deal because in the past, since I've been here, it's only been for brand new, like in your fast start people. So to
Right.
me, it's good for
Yeah,
any
that's
investor.
a big deal for me too because I fell out of the fast start window and
Yeah.
that makes a
But
big
it's
difference.
only that one specifically is only September.
Right. Okay. That's what I was thinking.
Yeah. And I don't know if you guys saw, but Megan was talking about that detox post and I had posted it in words, but then I stole somebody's story and it was like a prettier picture with the words. You can actually see
Okay.
the words, but it got more interest than just the words. I also am personally like focusing on triplex and trim and my own weight loss. So I think that's helped me personally too to be like, yeah, this is what I just started using. I mean, I've used it before, but I'm trying to be more like focused.
Personable.
Yeah. And then I can say this is what I'm doing. So
Right.
I did I was gonna ask Angie in the group. I don't know if she can talk right now, but I does everybody always like for the detox, the GLP-1, like there's a few different graphics. Like, of course, triplex and trim is like the best starter pack, but then there's also the slim and balance is like the lowest, like if they don't want to spend that much money. When you're first like talking to them about it, do you give them both options right away, or do you always start with triplex and trim and then go down if they say that's too much? Does anybody have any?
Remind me what the trim hasn't. Does that have restore in it?
Yeah, so triplex
Okay.
and trim is a combo that came out last year with restore and balance in it.
Okay. So my personal opinion from what some of my customers have been reporting back to me, I've never used balance. I've used Metaburn and I didn't really see too much. But maybe I'm also not in the stage of like, well, of course I can't use it now because I'm pregnant, but um, even when I used it before, I didn't really see a ton, but I was nursing, so there could be connections there. But um, the people that my customers that used balance didn't really feel they didn't really see much difference. But the restore I think is really crucial. So I don't know about the combo, but um I wish I could always get people like the triplex and restore, especially women. And
Yeah.
I think even so because I have MTHFR and so many people do, and I'm in groups with MTHFR and that's just a big conversation I have with a lot of people. The restore I think is really important because people with MTHFR have a lot of liver issues. So I wish that I could just like sell that always, like triplex and restore. It's like, I don't know, I feel like it's so crucial. And I don't know if you guys are in Lori's group.
Mhm.
the detox group. It's just, there's just so much there, I think, that maybe it's not talked about enough. But anyway, that I'm a huge Restore fan. Of course, that's another
Yep.
thing that they don't say. They say you shouldn't have while you're pregnant. So, um, I'm like chomping at the the bit to use it again. But
Yeah, and that's what I've been focusing on too is Restore because of the group with, and that's something that I'm doing in my own journey. So again, when people are like, "Oh, how did you just lose 5 pounds in a week?" I'm also doing that detox group. So there was another graphic that I found. I don't know if it's in the groups that you guys are on, where it's, well, it's the basic. You have to individually add, slim, balance, and restore. So I'm also giving them that option. I struggle with restore too because, like, to me, I don't mind the taste, but I know some people get it instantly and freak out and don't like it, and then they're like, never again. Nicole, I think it was you. I don't know if it was last week or what week it was
Yeah.
talking about how you're trying to focus on smaller.
Yeah, I've been finding that like when I started, I did the whole system too. What the trim one, I'm trying to think the name of it, the triplex trim,
Triplex and
the whole big system, like what Angie's been putting people on. And what I have found is with my people that I've signed up that's jumped on that, they're going to get their best results, of course, with all of it. But so many of the people that I would check in with that, I've had more people just like stop completely and say, I just can't do it. Too many pills, overwhelmed, drink this, take that. And so they started, like, I found that every time I'd get somebody to, bite the bullet and jump on that one, after like 2 weeks, they were like pulling out. They're like, it's too much. I can't do it. And then you're right, the restore um it's funny because I love the restore too. I'm with you, Anna. Like it's game changer. And so that's why I kind of like when they were talking about the GLP-1, I had seen that like if you could get them on the pink drink, the balance and the restore together. But I looked the other day trying to figure out, I wish they had like, I know they have the pink drink with Metaburn, but like it's too bad they didn't have slim with balance. So you could just add the restore, just a little less price. But I've been really trying, I don't know, I'm finding, and maybe it's just me and how I'm approaching people, but I feel like every time I put somebody on a bigger system, I see they like, I'm out, I can't do it, I'm overwhelmed, I can't, even though that's the best, you get you get some, but then I'm like, if they can just drink something in the morning, take 2 pills of balance at dinner or whatever, and then drink the restore at night, I feel like they would get some like quick results with that. So I have been promoting that too. Um, I was going to ask you guys too, because I posted that post also, and it says something about tester. So then, like how Angie had written it, the testers, I've had so many people, I think that I'm like giving out free like systems. So then how are you responding when they reach out to you? Like, I'm interested in this, like, how can I be a tester or whatever? Any thoughts on that?
I just send the verbiage that's in the comments. I actually haven't
Okay.
had anyone think that I was giving it away for free. I'm not sure why some people think that exactly. Maybe
I
because it says
know.
tester. But if you look at that verbiage, did you look at the
Yep.
verbiage to see what it said? They still think
Yeah.
so?
No, I actually, it's funny that you say that because I saw it in between hair appointments today. I looked and I'm like, oh, Megan put verbiage underneath. So I went under and looked because I was struggling with people the way they were responding, like, hey, how can I be a tester? And I was like, okay, how do I word this to get them to understand? So I saw your verbiage and I was like, okay,
Okay.
I'm gonna use that.
Yeah,
But
that makes it easy.
what's your opinion on like I want everybody to like I'm an all or nothing person, so I started with the big system and it worked great for me, but like so many I've had a handful of people that they just like they can't handle all the pills or they get overwhelmed and then they just I'm like I can't do this. But I'd like to encourage them to start. I've been trying to encourage them to start maybe a little more simple, but then we can always add on because it's surprising
Mhm.
if you start them simple and then they're like, what about Metaburn? What about? They start asking me questions. I'm
I had a
it the right
customer,
way.
she just started with the ProBio 5 because she had serious like chronic yeast, like bad, and the skin, and it's like been years and years. So she started ProBio 5 the first month, And then we were able to, she started this last month, she added BioCleanse. So she's only, in 2 months, she's only done 2 products. But in less than 2 months, or about 2 months, I think, she lost 10 pounds. And she's not huge. She's really not a big person, but it was all of that like inflammation and extra stuff. So I'm hoping that that encouragement, and she's starting to feel better, that maybe she'll be willing. Yes, inflammation. Um, I'm hoping that she'll maybe be willing to try something else. I actually just wrote out a card to put in the mail for tomorrow, with a couple of different kind of slims and an active, just in case, so that she can try that. And also I'll hit her with, because budget's a thing, but if so I think she works in a school, so hoping that maybe some of her friends will start to see that she's like, whoa, you've lost 10 pounds and you look great. What are you doing? And it could be like the 3 or 4 people that she gets some extra cash, and that just helps her continue. But if people are resistant for the extra, I feel like, just like you say, one product, if that's what gets them like their foot in the door.
Well, did you see that testimony? I don't know if you guys are in my customer chat thread, but it was a really incredible testimony. And Carissa got back with me that the product combo that the girl was on was Restore and Balance. I can send you the testimony. But so my thought is, if they are not willing or not able, whatever, they have some sort of reason they can't do the whole triplex and trim, then bring it down a notch. So then maybe it's, and again, and this is what I've been doing, like anyone that's comment on my post or reached out or whatever, I right away ask about their health goals. Obviously I know they want to lose weight. However, I want to know what their bathroom habits are like. I want to get really specific really fast. And so I ask those specific questions. Do you have constipation, bloating, diarrhea? What is it? Belly bloat, and indigestion, sugar cravings? And then once they respond back to me from that, then to me, it's an easy, bare minimum, they need triplex. And that's what I'll get them rolling on. Or if they're just like, humming along, but they have a lot of stubborn weight, they don't really have like glaring gut problems, then I would maybe be a little bit more likely to say, well, let's start you on Slim and Balance. Slim and Balance is, what is it, $115, and it's 100 PV. But the Restore and Balance is interesting too. So depending on what they're saying their health goals are and or pain points, then I wouldn't feel bad recommending one of those combos within kind of triplex and trim, and then you can always be saying, well, I would love, in month 2 or month 3 for you to get started on a probiotic, or, depending on what you get them started on, like always paint the picture for what else they can consider, because they're really leaning heavily on us to make a recommendation, and they'll tell you, like, if the budget doesn't allow for the whole thing, or for some reason, they're not supplement takers. And so to even take 1 or 2 things is like massively overwhelming or whatever, Does that help? I don't know if is that Angie Amberzetti or Angie Gaddy? I don't know if she's able to unmute, but
I think it's Amberzetti because she commented. Oh, just kidding.
Oh, it's Angie Gaddy. Okay. Because I was going to say Angie Amberzetti could speak to a little bit more, because she's signed up so many people, and I'm sure she has different, combos of what people decided to try. Okay, what else did I miss? Did you guys chat about anything else?
Just the detox. And then Anna had a couple questions we answered.
Oh, okay, got it. Well, I'm sitting here waiting on Daniel. Apparently they're practicing in the dark somehow. Okay, so, and I don't have my notes with me, but Christina Williams asked, can you guys still hear me? I don't know if you can see me, but I have some screenshots. Can you still hear me? Just fine. All right, let me go scroll back to September 10th. Okay. All right, there is some really, really good questions that she had. Can someone give me a verbal okay that you can hear me, even if you can't see me?
Yes.
Yep.
Okay, good. All right. So number 1 question is, and you can pop this in the chat or you can unmute and say it. What has Plexus given me that I could never put a price tag on? What has Plexus given me that I could never put a price tag on?
Confidence.
Okay, love it.
I can poop.
Yes.
I'm not in pain.
Yes, I would say my health because I don't know, there's some type of autoimmune thing that I've been not diagnosed with, but that pain thing is gone. So um that's huge, especially being a mother.
Mhm. 1000%. Okay, and then she had everyone ask themselves, why are you here? Why Plexus? Why now? And how could life be more painful right now if Plexus had not entered?
Well, I can share that, same when you say, oh, I'm sorry. What did you just say? The last question? How could it be more painful, right? If it
Yeah,
wasn't entered?
Plexus.
Okay.
Correct. Yeah.
So when I started, well, first of all, when I was 23, I was diagnosed with ulcerative colitis. So I've dealt with, the constipation and then obviously the symptoms of ulcerative colitis, bleeding and in the bathroom all the time and all of that. And for years, I've always gone natural. Like the doctors love me. And so I've never taken the prescription medications that they wanted me on, autoimmune suppressants and all of that. So I always leaned towards natural. Well, then this, I will say, when I was introduced to Plexus, usually anything I ever tried, I still struggled. Like I'd be constipated and then it would flare up, like I'd start to bleed and it was just hard. Plexus is the first thing that, I mean, even going into it, I was like, if this flares me up at all, I'm not, and I've had zero issues with my colon, zero. I had a
Wow.
colonoscopy done 2 years ago and there's absolutely, well, I feel like the Lord has healed me. I will fully give him the glory, but, they couldn't even tell that I had colitis. I have no sign of scar tissue. I have nothing, but this is the first time I've ever been able to take like BioCleanse, something that would help me go to the bathroom, because even though I have ulcerative colitis, or I had ulcerative colitis, it would still cause issues. If I try to do something to help with my constipation, I'd get flared in pain. I've not had one issue and I've been on Plexus for a year. It's been, that right there is a testimony that I share with people but I just had, one of the things that people struggle with is like, I just had a girl. Yeah, I kind of knew when she signed up, I was like, she was asking lots of questions and she messaged me and I was staying in contact with her and she's like, I'm 3 day, like she was almost that 2 week mark where people start to die off a little bit and either have constipation or diarrhea. Right there, I'm learning. And she's like, Nicole, I've been constipated for 3 days. I've never been constipated before. Like I saw the elevation come in and then, so we talked through it. And then she was like, okay, I feel like I've cleaned out. I've gone to the bathroom a lot. And I'm like, you're probably going through die off. That's normal, but it's good. Within 24 hours, I get this message this long. Talk to Plexus, out, done deal. It's just people panic. They don't want to get through. You try to work with them and encourage them that give it a few days, and like hold off on BioCleanse or do this or that. And some people just like, it's the minute they get bloated or crampy, maybe it's because I've had gut issues all my life that I just learned like I can get through this. But some people just like throw their hands up and they're like, I am out. Nope, this stuff doesn't work, or caused it to be worse, and it's like, no,
Yeah.
it's the root cause. You're getting in there and they just don't want to work through well, I've never had constipation before and now I'm having diarrhea.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't know how to. That was
Well,
a hard one.
not everybody's going to stick with it, and also some people will come back. But I think Fallon's question, I remember her saying this on a training call, and it stuck with me. She just said, "Well, if not this, what are you going to do to help?"
Yeah.
The symptoms. And I thought that was so profound and really good. And I think also when we're coming from a position of confidence, like, and I'm not saying you're not confident, but letting them just helping them think. Because when I first started, I was kind of like, oh, okay, no worries, like go get your money back, and then they go on their merry way. Versus like digging in with them and just saying, like, if not this, then what are you going to do? Kind of like what a health coach would do. Like not that they've hired us, but like in a sense, like we are invested in
helping them with their health goals. So like we want to we want to stick in there with them, but not everybody is going to want to do that. And then also some people will come back. I've had, I mean, those of us with have done this for a while have people that have come back. So it's annoying, but not everybody will.
Right.
All right. Who else? Who else?
Well, you're
I actually was one of those people that came back. So I initially started Plexus in 2017, which I'm like, why did I not stay with it? That, I mean, if I had honestly, if I had started as an ambassador in 2017, where would I have been now? I mean, I can't think like that really, but um, I initially started in 2017 under a different team. But I think probably because I wasn't an ambassador, it was harder to stay with it maybe. I actually would order some products for my neighbors. Like that's I was helping other people that way, but I was like, "Oh, don't worry, you don't have to. I'll just order it for you and you just pay me back," like this whole thing. Um, and mostly I had originally joined for the vitamins because I was using them as my prenatals.
Mhm.
Because even the whole food derived prenatals that were the same price range that I was using before were starting to hurt my stomach. And they weren't methylated and all
Mhm.
of the things. But the the price kind of was, like moms always put themselves on the back burner. So it just I was like in and out for years, and then finally like actually came back and like truly committed to it. So it's interesting how my journey has gone that way. And if I had stuck with it, I would have avoided all those autoimmune body aches that I had for years that
Mhm.
the ProBio and everything got rid of. So just part of the journey, I guess.
Yeah. Yeah. Oh, 100%. Okay. And this is this is like the winner question of the day. I really appreciated Christina Williams um actually having a huge scripture on the screen. 2 Corinthians 10:5 about taking every thought captive to make it obedient to Christ. But she said, ask yourself, what is my repeating thought that's been holding me back in my business in the last 6 months? And how does that make me feel? Now, some of you may not have thoughts of defeat. And if you don't, like, that's totally fine. Um, my dad always has said, he's always talked about like living on the victory side. And Jessica was talking about having triumphant thoughts, and that the depending like what thoughts we're thinking is going to flow out the kind of action that we're taking. And so I just wanted to open it up to allow some discussion over if you have a repeating thought that's been just like subconscious in the back of your mind, not even subconscious, maybe loud and proud in your brain, living maybe rent free, and where maybe it's causing you some stress, or maybe just affecting how you're showing up in your business. So it was very valuable to think about what that thought was. I mean, for the girls I was sitting next to, it wasn't hard to think of it. And then she had us turn to our neighbor and just say what it was. And then they had to do the same. So, does anyone have anything?
I'll go. I was on the call yesterday, but I was unable to unmute. So I answered, but my answer is different. I mean, I had two yesterday, but I only said one. But one, when you said 6 months, this is more like a loud and not proud one. And this is just me being very vulnerable, and I might get emotional. um, but mine is that I've gained a lot of weight, and I know I've not been like my best self. So it's hard to like show up and be like, who's going to do this with me? If I can't, like, I don't know. And I know comparison is like a huge thief and we shouldn't go there. Like, I totally know that. But I do really compare myself to last year because last year when I started this journey and like I started on fire and fast started and was doing all the things, like I was literally my best version of my best self. And like
Mm.
I was at my lowest weight. I looked amazing. Like I felt amazing and all the things. So I have completely undone all of that. And so I've been really battling that lately. But last week I decided like to just show up and to be done with that. And I will say, like, it was hard to just like come and show up, but I do think it's been helpful. Like, I mean, I signed 2 people this week just because I shared the detox group and that I'm personally doing it and I'm showing up and doing the work. So I think it will like pay off down the road. Like, and I'm not saying for like my business, but also like it will help just show like, life happens. And um but that's definitely been my biggest like struggle of like I'm not being my best self. So yeah, and just going through a lot of personal life and just like knowing how to show up. Last week the Ruby call really helped, of like not every single person needs to know like my whole story, what I'm going through right now, which is very hard for me because I'm a very open person and I want to tell everybody everything. But it's not my story to tell, so I've kind of had to like step back too in that aspect. But um, so yeah, that's my like biggest like struggle right now. I do feel like I'm like slowly overcoming it, but that's my
Well, isn't it interesting when we start to notice? Because sometimes we don't even realize we're in a funk or that something is kind of like on our brain. And it can be really something that can hold us back if we're not aware. And so I think awareness is the first key, the first step to overcoming. And yeah, so okay, who else has something that's been in their brain? Because I mean, let's face it, I'm pretty sure we all do. I mean, I was sitting there with Jessica Heffley, Angie Amberzetti, Melody Detweiler, Ryan Gilliford. I think that was. Oh, and I think there's one other girl that was sitting next to Melody. But I mean, I don't think it matters what your points are or what your rank is. I think we can all have our version of certain thoughts popping up in our brain.
I'll share. I don't mind sharing.
Hey.
I think my biggest struggle is I own a hair salon, so I see probably on average 40 people a week. And I'm a people person, I'm a big cheerleader. So, and I have a lot of people I feel like they trust me. And so, I've built this relationship with people in my business, but also this has opened up through social media and bringing people into my life that, I hadn't had relationships with. I've been praying about God sending the right people to run with me. And but I've been really struggling because I'm having a very hard time getting people to share and have the desire to put people on them to start a team. I'm really struggling, and it's getting in my head a little bit because I'm like, what am I doing wrong? Like, why can I not get people excited about the business side of this? Or, I keep thinking I have all these people and I'll like reach out to him. Then I'm like, okay, this girl for sure, I think is gonna like, and then she's loving the products and stuff. And then I'll send her a message and get all her excited and, about like, what start with $300, 3 people, oh, bless you. My heart is to bless you back and get people underneath you and all this and that. And then they just don't even respond. It's like, what do you think about putting a post out? They don't respond. And I'm like, why can I not get anybody to, or I have a few that go silver and then they just like, yeah, I don't know. It's really hard. I'm not going to lie. I'm struggling with like, what am I not doing right to get people to jump on and put people underneath them?
What if it wasn't something that you were doing wrong?
I know. I keep trying to, yeah, is it just the right ones have not landed in, I mean, I'm signing people up and I think because where I started so fast and people were just jumping on, jumping on, jumping on, jumping on. So I went silver, silver, gold, senior gold. And then it was like, okay, this is stretch. And I'm like, okay, next, okay, next. And I did share not too long ago that the Lord shared with me, like, I want you to steward what you have well, Nicole. So I really had to sit with the Lord and think, okay, I do want to steward. It's about relationship and loving people and helping them. And I don't want to get overwhelmed. And it is overwhelming sometimes, all the people checking in. I'm like, oh no, I haven't checked in with her. And I want them to know I'm here for them. And so I know that I need to steward where, like, the Lord blesses you with something and he blesses more in time. You get more when you show that you can all of that. But the whole, like, getting people to duplicate, I'm struggling with duplicating.
So 2 thoughts. If you looked at my numbers, I think that you would be like, okay, they're on their way. Melissa Eichenhorst has a video. I can send it to our chat. It's called number 76. And it was her 76th person that she signed that ended up going Emerald. So all the people up until then were basically, I guess, product users, or maybe, the silvers or the +1s. And so it takes finding the right people for sure. Do you feel like you post more about the products in the business?
Yes, I post a lot about the products. I'm trying to get better about posting about the business. Yes.
Well, because it may be one of those attraction things too. Like, you're attracting a ton of customers, like product users, which isn't a bad thing.
Yeah.
Trying to make those people business builders may be a little bit unrealistic of an expectation, because if you
Mhm.
have people coming to you to join a business, it's a heck of a lot easier to work with them, because they're here to make money, versus you trying to softly, gently, cajole them and warm them up. However, I will say, I think a huge reason why Plexus has been so successful is because it's attracted like a ton of accidental entrepreneurs, just because a large majority of us saw results on the products first and then decided to share. But so it may be timing for your existing customer base, or they may just be your solid, amazing senior gold customer base that you've built. And then to build on top of that, it's like, okay, I need to figure out how to attract people to the business side, the money making side. So it may look like your conversations are a little bit different, and or your posting is a little bit different based on what you are wanting to attract. So that may help your activity, because it may not be something that you're doing wrong necessarily, because like the things you are doing are totally the things that you do to develop people, and I'm sure there's nothing erroneous around the actions that you're taking or even what you're saying. It may be more from an abstraction standpoint, or maybe just timing. And I think it's a little bit, honestly, I think it's a little bit of everything. There's a little bit of, let me switch gears here. It may be a little bit more of the little bit of everything. So the things that you are doing with your current customers, keep doing that. Like, I just feel like it's the act of trying. I mean, I've experienced all the feelings all over again with my reentry account, because I've had to start from scratch, and then, experience all the feelings of, trying to go gold. Going gold was really hard for me on my reentry. And was there anything different about me? I was only better than I was in 2015, but you're working with a whole other group of people, and you're in conversations with different people than you were, 10 years ago, or whatever it was, 8 years ago. So, so I do think it is the balance of continuing to do what you're doing with your current customer base, but it might be your intention of, actually, I'm looking for people that want to do the business with me. And so formulating your conversations, even with your current customers, I feel like it's all about networking too. So, and you have the benefit of seeing people like that are probably using the products. You're seeing them on a weekly basis, which is really fantastic for retention. And where you could just say, I'm actually looking for people that want to do a business like this. Who can you think of?
And so just the act of asking about that may bring more, more people to you. I think the more we verbalize it and tell people, even for people that aren't working the business with us, like even my mom, she's like, who else would be good at this? Like she was like trying to help me think of people. And I think like ask your husband, ask your kids, ask, even if they're not working Plexus, ask your customer base because they may totally have some entrepreneur people in their network or their life or that have done network marketing before, or maybe they're in health circles and would totally grow another income stream because they already have a client base built. Does that help?
Yeah, it does. It helps a lot. I know, like, talking it out, it's like, um, it's about just being more bold and seeking out people for the business side of it. I get so wrapped up in helping people, and it's like, I go into that health help, and I want but I'm looking for people, getting them on. Obviously, people are jumping onto, all my people are for the supplements. I mean, I do have obviously one of my girls that's with me, that's running with me, but like, um, and she started on the supplements first, but then was like, oh yeah, I want this. So I do need to get my mind more seeking out or promoting more of the business side of it.
Well, and it's interesting how that little shift of focus can really help you build a little bit differently with a slight little tweak. And it's not that we're going to forsake the client base. Like we have two businesses within our Plexus businesses, which like we have our current customer base, and then we have like the team building part, like people that want to partner with us and we grow an income stream,
Yes.
Yeah.
Nope, that makes sense. Thank you.
When Alec was sharing at the Diamond meeting, he said, we need to be building hope and believing in what's possible. And I think all of us, when we started Plexus, had that. And so we need to just be mindful of recapturing that if you feel like not that you've lost it, but where it's kind of gotten a little bit, you know. And he, I don't know if it's him or someone else, posed the question, what if I can rebuild stronger? Some of you may be in a rebuilding phase. Some of you may be in a building on top of what you already built, which is, I guess, how my brain thinks of it. Like, so say you're at senior gold points right now. Okay, I want to go senior gold again in order to go ruby. So in my brain, I think of it as like a separate thing, a separate entity. So you have your senior gold team. We love them, but we're going to build on top of that. So we're going to like pretend like we're a brand new VIP customer that's going to refer their first friend, and then we're going to go silver, and then go senior silver, and then go gold, and then work on. And if you're rebuilding in that way, but also having really, strict focus on finding some business builders, I think that the second senior gold team, so to speak, can be actually built quicker and more efficiently than you were like recruiting the whole wide world, And again, I'm not saying that we stop recruiting, because you have to keep having conversations, continue recruiting. And we're also in contest season. So the recruitment is all building into your credits too. And the more people we can help and bless, it's a mutual blessing in all the ways. Okay, so what's my repeating thought that's been holding me back in my business in the last 6 months or 6 weeks? And how does it make me feel? I think that's something else to think about too. Is like, how does the thought make you feel? And a lot of times when we're feeling a certain way, then we don't act based on the thought that we're having. Or the action we're taking is
I
like,
think for me, I get the like failure paralysis, maybe, if that's it's like just failing, and then it like paralyzes a bit, it's like then you don't even, you feel like not even sure what the next step is, or if the next step is even going to, it's just the stinking thinking, really. And it kind of boils down to that.
Do you have a reoccurring thought?
I don't even, like, my thoughts are so unorganized, I think, right now. and not to not to find excuses, because it's really not an excuse, but the ADHD thing and then pregnancy brain, it's like I don't even know what my brain is doing right now.
I have lived that, so I totally get that.
It's like,
Your saving grace is going to be the IPA sheet. Well, and not just you, everybody. Because on days when you don't have the brain space, you just follow the rubric. You just follow the template, and you let that dictate the action that you're taking, regardless of kind of like where your brain is or where your thoughts are. And I totally get it. Like I've had multiple babies while working up to Diamond, and it is a thing.
and I don't even know how you did it. I think about that and I'm like, look at Megan or like Melody. She had a whole bunch of kids. She was pregnant. She had foster babies. And I was like, what? I have 5 kids. I mean, that's not whatever, but I don't even know how you
But
guys do that. I was thinking about that. I'm like, what am I complaining about? But I don't even know how
well,
to.
here's the reality. Anything that's worth doing is going to take sacrifice. And it's going to take sometimes the sacrifice looks like what I was up with babies anyways. So it didn't feel like a sacrifice of sleep. Like I was up all hours of the night and stuff. Or when my babies were sleeping, then that's when I was working. Things look very different than they did 10 years ago when I had like scheduled nap times and stuff for the kids. But I would say so yeah, and sometimes it's a sacrifice of our brain space just to like be thinking in terms of like plexus work. But so and I would say um a huge piece, magic, whatever you want to call it, of success has been honestly asking the Lord to just bless it, bless the work of my hands, magnify the hours of my day, send us people, like literally praying that with every intention that God's bringing you people, that they're going to see your posts, that you would just pray when you post, pray that God supernaturally allows the right people to see it. Because He sees your life, He knows your heart's desires. Can He not direct people to or whatever, shift up the algorithms? And that doesn't mean that we don't do nothing. Like you don't pray and then do nothing. Like I think it's definitely prayer coupled with action. But there's been days where it's like I'm gonna post, pray, and then I'm leaving it until I'm done with school with the kids or until nap time hits and I can actually tap in and do anything. Right. And that's the beauty of what we do too, is that you can do it, close it down, and then go work on whatever the priority is for the next couple hours, and then you open it back up and boom, work with what's there. Okay, I wanted to okay, 3 points. Hey, there you are, Randy. Did you want
I've been huffing and puffing. I want to say something real quick. I just told someone on Sunday, I'm going to stop. I told her on Sunday, she was like, one of my customers messaged me during church, and I'm like trying to find stuff. And I was like, girl, no, nothing is ever that urgent in this business. So, like what you're saying, I actually when I first started this business, I feel like from the moment you start sharing till you hit about gold is the hardest season because you're like learning how to do it while trying to like help people. It's messy, right? And during that time, I had to set timers on my phone of like when I was working, when I wasn't. But I wanted to say something to the reoccurring thought because I'm the girl that had Jessica Heffley tell me that she didn't believe me when I said I was going Emerald. And guys, I was, what was I, Megan? Like 230 points away from it at one point. And she told me that, first of all, I had to think about like, well, rude. Like, yeah, I do. Like everybody wants Emerald, But since then, I have had so many things happen in my life that I've realized I'm like, I don't deserve it. I don't deserve my kids. I don't deserve my husband. And this has been like a lifelong reoccurring theme in my brain. And I remember like way back in high school, I was put on the prom court and I told my parents, I'm not going to prom. Like I don't want it. I don't deserve it. Like so many other girls deserved that, not me. When I got prom queen, I remember like it was one of those out of body experiences of like, this isn't me because I didn't deserve that. So it's been like a lifelong thing. And I feel like I've gotten to that point in my business. I talk to so many people who are struggling in the business. I just told someone, she's a sideline sister. She feels like she hasn't progressed at all. And I told her, I said, no matter what, what keeps me first of all on the products, because I'm an all in or all out kind of person, is I know it's true. I know what's true about the products and I know what's true about the business. So for that reason, I will continue to keep showing up for everyone else. Now, have I been present on social media? No. But every single day, I am drowning myself. This is just me speaking out loud to half of you who don't even know me. I'm drowning myself in trying to keep my customers with me, because up until like probably 6 months ago, my retention was phenomenal. I had such good retention, and it's because I kept people with me. Well, now that I'm losing them, I'm not bringing people back in. So like I'm desperately like trying to keep these people with me. I'm in three-way messages every day and I'm drowning myself doing that, and it's because I don't feel like I deserve more.
Mm.
And I actually figured that out in a therapy session like a month ago, and I was like, she's the one that kind of like had me scope it out. So can I be really weird for a second? I had a dream last night, and I even told my daughter about this dream. I had a dream that I went back in time, and 2-year-old me, I was in my old house trailer with my parents, and I was watching like an outsider looking in. 2-year-old me ran by me, and I grabbed me and picked me up and held me. And I told Rosie, I said, I really think it's because as your mom, I don't want you to lose your spark. I don't ever want you to think that you're not good enough. And like, that's just been, and I think that like everything that's happened in my life over the last 3 months, nothing profound, but just like changes and seasons and a little bit of therapy, lots of scripture reading. Like, I just feel like, okay, it also started, I did a huge girls retreat this in July for teenage girls, and telling them like, you are the daughters of the king, like you deserve so much. And then I got home and I was like, I just told these girls everything that I have never told myself, and I've had to reflect on it for a while. So anyway, I'm not saying that as an excuse, just kind of like saying it out loud. I did not realize that for a while. But yeah, I think that we need to stop saying that we don't deserve certain things, because I do deserve it. And I worked really hard to get to where I was. And then I took a vacation in Colorado. I stopped posting on social media. I gave myself that social media cleanse. And now I need to come back and figure out where I'm at.
Mm-hmm.
So, and I've been pretty open with you, Megan, about my feelings on how I've stepped away. And, you know, I needed that. I needed to like kind of reassess some things.
Mm-hmm. Well, and when there's life things going on, like it takes attention when you're working through things, and this business also takes attention. And it's our mind is a battleground of sorts for where our attention is going to flow. And so in some seasons we just have to give ourselves permission to let our attention flow in another direction in order to be, present for whoever we need to be present for, and maybe that's even ourselves sometimes.
That's right. I just looked at my shirt and it literally says, I run a tight shipwreck.
I couldn't see the bottom of it.
I'm like, this is perfect timing right now. Like I'm good. It's all good.
That is interesting though. I think whatever thought that you're thinking or mulling over, or that's maybe just not even you're aware of, but maybe you'll start to think about some things and you'll figure out the root of it. But I'm going to read a couple of the notes that I jotted down from my lunchtime with Jessica, because it was so good. But real quick, Christina gave 3 points to rebuilding stronger or building stronger. So and can we just all agree that this business is about building and rebuilding? And I sent a screenshot that Lori Bradford had posted, or a screenshot of her post that she had posted. She was posting about this business and network marketing specifically, and there was a little part that I circled, because she said this business doesn't feel like success. It actually feels like failure. And I think people don't understand that feeling that is okay. Like you can feel unsuccess. It's kind of like when you're homeschooling or whatever, like if you're an entrepreneur, you probably see all the good, the bad, the ugly in your business or in your homeschooling or whatever it is that you're taking responsibility for. And like, and it's almost like measuring ourselves against our own expectations of perfection or whatever. And the reality is, like, you're going to keep making steps forward and you're going to progress, even if it feels like you're doing 2 steps forward, 1 step back. We're going to progress because we're not going to quit. And so, anyway, she said to rebuild stronger or build stronger, number 1, rebuild belief. And so that's what Brandy was talking about. I know it's true about the products and I know it's true about the business. And then everything flows from that. So if you're realizing that you're lacking belief, you need to focus there. Number 2, reignite the vision, which we have to keep asking ourselves, like, why are we doing this? Oh yeah, what's my goal? You got to keep that like front and center in your mind. And then number 3 is run with one. Find someone, it might be a new one. Every month it's usually different for me. There's a different group of people. I mean, there's still some OGers, but there's a shifting of who's in, who's out this particular month. And sometimes when your team is smaller, it may feel like nobody's in this month. And that's okay. You're looking for the new and you're looking for the few. And if you don't have anyone running with you now, you're going to recruit that person. So, okay. I really appreciated Jessica's words, the word victory and the word victorious thought. The word victorious thoughts is so liberating. My dad talks about living on the victory side, and he's like, are you shouting the victory or you're just shouting? So I grew up with like that in my ear, but it's good. Like I really love the word triumphant. I love the word victorious. And so if we're thinking about the way we think about our business, challenging ourselves to think and consider the victorious thoughts that we can be thinking about our business, the triumphant thoughts. And I really liked what, so I'm not all the way through that podcast yet, but I'm listening with open ears with it. But I did think it was really interesting how we're talking about using scripture to basically retrain your brain, retrain my brain. And Brandy, that's reminding me because there was a few scriptures that ran through my brain about worth or worthiness or feeling like I deserve more. I remember Carissa quoting, he's given us all things that pertain to life and godliness. And so, I mean, whatever the thought is that you're dealing with, find a scripture to like combat that. And she talked about declaring it over and over and over again. And the scripture talks about meditating on the word until it becomes like part of us. So I thought that was really challenging. And then we know this, but everything flows from belief. And so if we're struggling with belief, then no wonder like our actions, and our results are struggling. She said, well, it's an invitation. We have an invitation to think a new thought, to welcome uncomfortable feelings. And it's really an invitation to notice and to partner with the Lord, but still do it. And April, I'm really encouraged by you saying, even though I'm making this choice too, regardless of how I feel or the reality of like my weight or the things that are your reality right now, you're still choosing to show up despite XYZ. So I think that's a very victorious way to live. Let's see. Oh, she said most people at the hint of the uncomfortable just say, I'm not doing that. And so I really love that you guys are not afraid to feel uncomfortable. And she said, this is hard but simple work. It's like the recognizing the thought and the feeling that we're dealing with, and when it comes to our business or whatever, but continuing to move forward despite those things. And also, when I started, I think I told you guys this before, but when I started, I had the thought, like, oh my word, like, what are people going to think of me? Like, are they going to think I'm just trying to like sell them something to just make money? Like, that was just like, to me, it's like so disgusting. Like, if someone would actually judge me in that way. But alternatively, I also had this thought of like, what if they come back and like thank me for sharing it with them? That it could actually bless their life a ton, like it has mine. And so, even though I had both of those thoughts like lingering in the back of my brain, I was choosing to think and operate from that other more victorious thought. So I think as we're dealing with these thoughts that are popping up, which I don't know, do we ever graduate from that? I don't know. I think the victorious reality is that we can choose which thought we're going to be fueled by. And I think that one thing that we can be reminding ourselves is that we can change. And looking at the big picture, a lot of times our biggest struggle ends up becoming our biggest success. So let me look real fast. I think I had one little blurb of notes. Victorious thoughts, triumphant thoughts. Oh, she also talked envisioning and imagining and praying. And I do think it's an interesting and helpful thing to do. I don't know if you guys are visualizers. I'm very visual just in general. But sometimes I think we need to cultivate the imagination side of ourselves and like imagine the what ifs or if when like it like as we continue to do this, what will life look like in 5 years? What will life look like in a year of being disciplined and diligent? Okay. All right, that's it. That was the kind of the crux of what I wanted to talk about because I thought it was just such a good discussion that we had at the lunch, well, actually in the session, and then we ended up talking some more about it at lunchtime. And for me, my limiting thought was coming more from a tangible sense of time, feeling like I have lots of belief and I have lots of faith, and I don't doubt the products, the business, or myself to be able to do it. For me, it's the feeling really like in the space that I'm in with my kids, feeling crunched for time. But and this is an interesting thing too, as I verbalized, and also I think there's probably a lot of extra emotion because I had a son get married this weekend. So there's just like a lot of emotions going on when you have a kid, especially when they're 18. It's not like he's 25, he's 18. Choose to make such a big life decision like that. And then all the changes that come with your family and all the things. So like overly emotional, I'm sure, because of those other things going on in our family. But the reality was after I just verbalized like my fear, then it almost like seemed to like lose the power. And I guess I came away from those conversations just feeling like I can figure it out. Like I can figure out where the time is going to come from. And life looks very different than it did 10 years ago when I had complete control over the schedule. My babies went to bed at a certain time. I couldn't always guarantee what time they woke up, but they all laid down for a nap in the afternoon. So there was like pockets of time that I had for free. Now with teenagers, it's not like that. It's not like that. But I think regardless of what the thought is that we're struggling with, there is victory waiting for us. Okay, I didn't mean to go over this much, guys, girls. The meme about being an overstimulated raccoon, that is me right now. Anna, I love you. That is awesome. I think all of the moms can at some point relate. Yeah, it's just a thing. But it's possible still to grow in those seasons. And you're equipped to help the next person, the next one person. And that's all it is. It's like, I'm going to help the next person. So, okay, girls, this has been good. It must be going around. Throw it in the chat so we can all get a chuckle. That'd be funny. All right. Well, so to throw a loop around all of this, I would just encourage you guys to partner with the Lord in all of it, because we have, regardless of the struggle that we're feeling in our thoughts or in our life or the things that are going on, God is in control over things, and he can supernaturally direct us to the people and help us find success in the in the midst of all the messy and the crazy. And then the second thing is to really be mindful about the reoccurring thoughts that are there and choose the victorious thought. And Jessica gave homework yesterday. She said, okay, so we need to be answering the question of how painful would life be if Plexus wasn't in it? And she said, I want you to post that today. So if you didn't do that yet, make sure that's your post for either tonight or tomorrow. So you voice message it into your notes in your phone or whatever you want to do to like make sure that post gets out tonight or tomorrow if it didn't get posted yesterday. Okay. girls, it's been great. I gotta go run, put people to bed, some of my people to bed, and we'll keep chatting in the chat. Thanks for being on, and thanks for waiting for me. Daniel made it home safe and sound. All right, bye, girls.